Today, let's talk about 4 things women need to know about their men. Folks, I'm Jim Miller, helping you find and keep the love of your life and write a better love story. Got to ask you, if you're new to this channel, please smash the subscribe button. Should be right over in this ballpark. Would ask you to tick the bell icon when you do. That way you're notified of new content as I upload it. Give me a thumbs up if you wouldn't mind, and write a comment down below if there's something you want me to talk about in the future. But let's get right into the content. I sent out an email to my list not long ago asking about the biggest relationship challenges that they face. And I'm still sorting through some of those results, but one of the things that came up was, things that women don't know about men. And these are 4 things that kind of are common that I found in there that I really kind of want to tell women about your man. Okay? Number 1, he really does think about nothing sometimes. This is kind of difficult for people to get around because if you're a guy and you've been sitting there and your girlfriend or your wife looks at you and says, "Hey, what are you thinking about?" Nothing. Nothing is something that we often think about. Or we work through a problem in our mind. I might have a problem on my mind, something going on with my truck or my motorcycle or something like that, that I'm just trying to work through, or maybe a work problem, something like that. And I'm not really talking about it. It's not really a problem. It's not causing any issues, but it's just something that's on my mind, and I'm thinking about it, and I'm kind of trying to work through it by myself. Not necessarily talking to my girlfriend about it because it's not necessarily something she could really help with. Reminds me of a cartoon that I saw one time, or actually a meme, where there was a man and a woman sitting on the couch, and the woman's sitting over and she's writing in her journal, and there's a little cloud above her head, and it says, "I don't know what's going on with Jim. He seems distracted. He seems withdrawn. I wonder if there's someone else. Am I doing something wrong? Oh my God, is he going to break up with me? My life is going to be over. What can I possibly do?" And then it shows the guy, and he's sitting there, and there's a little cloud above his head, and it just says, "Yeah, my motorcycle won't shift out of second gear. Wonder how I can fix that." So the thing is that just because a man is maybe withdrawn or distracted a little bit doesn't mean that he's thinking about something bad. Sometimes we think about nothing. Number 2, he loves you just the way you are. Yes, really, just the way you are. You don't have to make a lot of changes. You don't have to make a lot of things like that in your life. You don't have to change your hair, your wardrobe, and everything else for the man to love you. You don't have to change the way you treat him, the way that you act. In fact, he'd probably be happier if you were just the way you were when you guys first met. Just lovey and flirty and whatever like that, and never change. The man loves you. He loves you just the way you are. Really, you can accept that. Number 3, men don't really like change quite often. That's why they're very reluctant when you start talking about losing weight. Let's go on this diet. Let's start exercising together. Let's start doing this. Let's start doing that. Let's change the way we do this. Let's get up in the morning and start walking. Let's cut out salt. Let's, whatever it is that you want to change. Men are quite often, it's kind of like up to number 2. Men are quite often, they don't necessarily like change. They'd be happy, I know a lot of guys, myself included, I eat the same thing pretty much for lunch every day, and I'm happy. It's okay. I don't need to try new things. Every now and then it's nice and whatnot like that, but for the most part, I don't have to try something new. There's a couple of dishes that I make for myself. My God, I mean, I don't eat crazy, exotic foods and whatnot like that. I eat pretty much the same thing on a weekly basis. I go to the grocery store. It's pretty easy. I pick up the same couple of things. I throw them in the fridge. I make them throughout the week. Boom, that's it. My lunch is pretty much the same thing every day. Every now and then I'll switch it up, or I'll forget my lunch and have to go out. But men don't really like change. And so when you start bringing up a lot of changes that you want to make and whatnot like that, when you start changing a lot of things, they'll have a little bit of a panic attack, although they'll deny it. But it just kind of, they're very reluctant to change. So just understand that when you're dealing with your man. Number 4, men have emotional needs too. Women often think of men and boyfriends and whatnot, husbands, boyfriends, as kind of lacking in emotional depth. And, well, okay, I get it. Really, I do. The way that men process overall, generally the way that men process things it doesn't look like they have a lot of emotional depth. But men do have a great amount of emotional depth. They just don't wear it on their sleeves quite often like women do. They do have needs that need to be met emotionally. I need to know that my girlfriend loves me. I need to know that what I'm doing is helping, is making a better situation. I need to know that. Most men need to know this. They're wildly committed to their wives and to their families, or to their girlfriends and families and whatnot, and they need to know that what they do is making a difference. They need to know they're loved in return. And I think if you understand some of these things about men, this is not an exhaustive list by any stretch of the imagination, but I think if you understand some of these things about men, you maybe can look at it a little bit differently when they're not acting or doing the way that you want them to do, or when you come up with some great suggestion and they just, they don't really jump right on top of it. It doesn't mean they don't think it's a great suggestion. It just means that maybe they process things a little bit differently. So anyway, folks, I just wanted to share that with you here today. That was something that came through the emails. Again, in the description down below, a couple of free ebooks that I give away, and my personal email address. Would love it if you leave a comment and give me a thumbs up. Anyway, Jim Miller, helping you find and keep the love of your life and write a better love story. Have a great day. Thank you.